first of all, a lot of principals used to tell them. One principal had told me right in front of my face that you are some cheat, some bluff, because it's not possible that someone who's from Bihar have a degree in IIT could come to Kashmir. I told that gentleman very politely that, sir, I'm 23, I can solve maths problem in air, and I'm single, so I'm an IIT.
Somehow that spoke more than an identity card. Identity card can be this can't be.
Oh wow.
So I feel attacked.
So welcome guys, this is To Synapse Pod. We have our regulars, Manik, Paras, Ayush, Chirag, me Avinash, and we have a special guest today, Imbesat, and he's a co-founder and CEO of FILO, which is an instant tutoring app, and the number speaks for itself, with 3.5 million kids using FILO for finding a tutor, which is from a database of 60,000 plus and over 15 countries. So that's an amazing feat, I would say, and we are really happy to have you here. So I want to start something in a different manner today, rather than straight away going that please explain and introduce FILO. I would like to ask that when we start a company, we look for a problem A, but during the journey, sometimes a problem B becomes more exciting. So was that the case with FILO as well, or did you guys found the thing on day one, or how was it?
So actually, no, that was not the case for FILO. And the reason that was not the case, because before starting to build FILO, I spent almost 5 years in education.
Okay.
So I believe 5 years worth of research cannot go wrong.
That's a lot of research.
Yeah. So that's why I think we started with a clear notion of supporting students in their learning phase, because if you look around, every edtech, almost every edtech, is all about throwing hundreds of GBs of terabytes of content.
Yeah.
You do this, do this, do this, do this. Nobody is actually listening to students.
Correct.
There is no way students can actually say. So, big startups have got thousands and thousands of folks in the sales force to everyday dial parents and students. We don't dial anyone. Thousands of students dial us technically through our platform every day.
Yeah.
So for the first time, we build a company, we build a product where we are just on standby, our tutors are on standby, and we let the students speak. Because in general, in education, it has mostly been monologue. If you pick example of any classroom for that matter, in school or in coaching, it's all about teachers came in, then they deliver, and with the highest stature they go back. We kind of changed it, where teachers are waiting, students come in, they ask, they don't shy away, they have very candid conversation. It's almost like a cool podcast happening on FILO.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's going on.
Yeah. No, I should also definitely throw a little bit more light for our audience, specifically on the part when you said you had an educational background. So he's an IT KGP passed out in 2015, and part of Super 30, started an institute in Kashmir. So would love to know how did that all came together?
Came across,
right?
Yeah,
just the highlights of it sound so wild.
So
in my head. I'm very curious.
That's very wild 5 years.
It's a trailer of a movie which is going to be a hit.
It already sounds so amazing, right? Because Super 30, we have heard so much about it.
Yeah.
There's a movie also about it. And then doing something in Kashmir, which was not many people have gone ahead and done that back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And not even right now. It's not like the current scenario. Doing something there and coming up and starting FILO. Would love to hear your story, FILO.
Yeah, it is very fascinating. My mom even tells me even these days that I'm not able to explain our friends and relatives what exactly you have been
That's
doing.
the case with every startup guy right now.
Or every mom. Let's put it like that. So I come from Bihar. Okay, so in Bihar, if there's a guy which has taken birth, you don't have many options, to be frank. Either you first become an IAS officer, or if you are not that talented, then okay, you can settle with an IIT degree.
Oh wow.
So
काम चला लेंगे.
काम चलाएंगे. So I think I've spoken this multiple times in fact. So between my school and my home, there used to be this house, the one big ass house of District Commissioner of Patna. We call it District Magistrate there, DM. So every day we pass by that house and everyone is questioning there, okay, one day we will come and settle here. But when I was in college, and so of course, like this, I have to follow my father's and parents' instruction, go to Super 30, and frankly, I went to Super 30 because I was extremely fed up with our school system. What was happening in school, I was extremely fed up because they were teaching things like I was not ready to accept it in a way, because when you're preparing for IT and you are in 11th and 12th, the schools really become very monotonous, extremely.
Correct.
Because they will expect you that you come tomorrow with all the derivation and formula written, with green box on the top of the formula, with the title being from the red and all of that. So everything was so difficult. I remember, I think I've just somehow found 5 copies which had few pages left after my class 10th, put it in a bag, and that bag remained untouched for next 2 years. All I have to do is just carry that bag to school and bring it back. So nothing was actually happening in school during my 11th and 12th. So when I got to know about Super 30, so first thing was that let's find out the form and fill it. Had a very nice interview. I think that was first experience of going through an interview process. So the guy who took my interview, he's not a guy, he was basically a super cop in Bihar. Then he was Director General of Police. Okay. So the two folks who were running the Super 30, one was Mr. Abhinandan and one was Mr. Anand Kumar. So he asked me this question. He gave me 2 cups and he just touched them. Like he just put them and touched them. And then he asked me, is friction acting between these 2 cups or not? That was a real good physics question for an 11th grade student. So from that question, I realized that this place has got a different vibe. I will learn something here. So from there, the Super 30 journey has started. In the Super 30 journey, the good thing was, I remember very correctly that a lot of my batchmates there, they come from extremely modest background. Extremely modest. Some of their fathers are, let's say, selling eggs by the roadside. Some of their mothers are working as a house supporting assistant somewhere. And thank God today, few of them are working at best of the investment banks across the globe. So I'm very happy. But I think it got somehow connected in my mind, and it created a spark that education is a tool for a normal lower middle class or middle class person to take a big leap in life. Yeah.
It's a catalyst.
Yeah. So what I did after going to IIT Kharagpur, I realized somehow I was mentored by some real good seniors who made me understand that I'm not going to learn a lot of things doing MS Excel or PowerPoint in corporates. So I utilized all my summer and winter breaks doing one or the other activity with respect to education in any state of the country. I started with Bihar, Patna. I remember the first month, the May month of my second year internship time, I stayed almost for 30 days in Naxal areas of Bihar. Along with 20 of my batchmates from college. Some from first and second year. I was in second year, I think. And this project we did in collaboration with Bihar Police. That project really opened my eyes in a way, because whatever activity prior to that I was doing in an urban town, mostly in a tier 1 to 2.5 urban town. I could not have got the experience of actually looking what's happening in level 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, or whatnot. So that really touched me a lot, and we came back with a lot of report. Obviously we presented it to the then education minister and whatnot, I'm sure nothing will happen immediately with the project submitted from a bunch of second year from college. But even those like the guys in administration, they really appreciated this. So I used to tell these thing to those students in those Naxal areas of Bihar that, hey man, no one is going to come from another planet or another city to help you guys.
Correct.
You have to help yourself.
Correct.
So what we did, we just counseled them and we gave them as much information as we could. We could not have taught them like in 5 days what can you teach to anyone.
Yeah.
We just tried to give them as much information and we told them that, hey, if this is what you want to achieve, this is the way. Just sharing as much information as possible. And from there, someone just told me that, hey, why don't you take a visit to Kashmir, because there is a similar problem in Kashmir.
Yeah.
So then I took my flight to Kashmir, and I remember my first visit to Kashmir was also very crazy because so I spent 30 days in Naxal areas of Bihar. Then came back home, and my father took the whole family along with some relatives to Ladakh for a trip. So pretty, you can say, extravagant going on. And I was in Ladakh, and then someone told me that, hey, why don't you go to Kashmir? It's very close by. And that stupid fellow did not realize that it's though it's very close by, but you cannot simply travel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restrictions.
It's a lot of restriction, and it's a long journey, and you don't have money.
Same journey.
Yeah, you don't have money. Then I remember, so most of my pocket money, whichever I had, used to get wasted on this STD booth phone calls that I had to make because phone was not working in the region. But somehow I managed that, okay, a bank will sponsor our trip to Kashmir, JK Bank. But then JK Bank folks, my friend told me that JK Bank's folks are saying that no, it's not possible. No one from IIT will come to Kashmir. It's insane. You guys are bluffing. I was like, did he say this exact word? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. I said, like, then let's make the trip. Then let's make it happen. Let us show that person our faces, and maybe then he will realize that, yeah, something like this can actually happen. Then comes the biggest part, the most difficult part, convincing my mom.
Oh, yeah. Always. I think moms are always the ones to convince.
that while we are going on a return journey from Leh to Delhi, and the rest of the family was supposed to go from Delhi to Patna, I had to take a small detour. Instead of joining them to Patna plane, I'm going to tell them bye-bye at Delhi airport. And that was really very difficult. So I have to tell my mom that, listen, we have got the sponsorship. My friend is bringing air tickets. I'm going by plane, because she was most scared about the road trip from Delhi to Srinagar, because she had heard a lot of accidents and all of that happening, and that was the most crazy part for her. So somehow I had to, like a good son, you have to lie to your mom. Of course, you can't survive that way. So I told her that we have got the tickets, but I had no idea about. I asked my friends. We somehow met near Red Fort, and we said that, okay, we have got some money to arrange a ticket via bus.
Okay.
So we took a bus trip, first road trip to Kashmir, landed there. The next day, I went to the manager's office. I don't that time this was Mr. Parvez Saab or something, person by this name was there. So then he really liked that, okay, yeah, some guys are there. Then he asked, like, you are here for what?
Yeah.
What will you do? Then I tried to explain him that, see, these are the kind of activities we have been doing in different parts of the country, and we want to do same in Kashmir. And from there, this Kashmir thing started happening.
So you were seeking like a sponsorship from the bank?
Yeah, because how will I sponsor my 3 guys who are going to accompany me, and then how will we find a place to stay?
So what was the work happening there? Like, you were teaching people who were underprivileged, or was it more than that?
And also, what was the core motivation? Like, what drove you?
It's not do this. It doesn't sound so.
Yeah. Is it physics, maths, or is it like
it's
everything?
not a rational path.
Yeah, not a rational path.
So the main purpose was that somehow I realized that the level of exposure, what a village guy has in Bihar, a city guy has a similar level of exposure in Kashmir. Even if you were studying back in 2013, 2012, in one of the best schools in Kashmir, you had no idea about what is IIT or what is DC or what are the best colleges of Delhi University. It's just that they are not aware about it at all.
Is it because the information in Kashmir is very controlled?
Internet
Or
penetration
there
is no geo, right?
No. So I think it's not about the information. See, it's all about that who is one guy living across the street in the same block who has cracked something.
Yeah.
It's all
Okay.
about the exposure sometimes.
It's all about the exposure. Like, I was in Patna, I had no internet,
Yeah.
but I knew that, okay, after 3 blocks, there's one guy, he's an IT Roorkee alumnus.
Right.
Yeah.
That house that you always used to see.
Exactly.
So I remember I had one employee who was a software developer from Kashmir. He told me his crazy story that he himself has inspired more than 50 people. Like he said, I can put it on my count on my fingers the number of people have talked, explained things which are too obvious for us, and it was crazy. Like he was a role model in the entire city.
This happens. If you are a software engineer, if you're a doctor, then in a place like Kashmir, you become a role model.
Yeah.
So what happened about? So we conducted this workshop. We told them what are the avenues they have. I conducted a workshop even for some teachers there, and then how to approach science. Basically, how to learn science. Not that I was teaching them, because I was there for I think 5 days, so I could not teach them any subject for that matter. I was just teaching them that how to learn it. So the habit is that if someone has to learn motion or force, the first thing they try to start is, when was Newton born and where was he born? I'm like, why? This is crazy, man. What the hell is going on? Doesn't matter even if Newton did not exist. You can call it, let's say Amit invented
Correct.
physics or the whole calculus or whatever. So we have to explain them that these things which actually matter. So basically I was trying to achieve through our workshops that ultimately you have to build analytical skills in your mindset. Ultimately you have to deep dive into thinking. You have to raise more questions. That's how you learn science. That's how you learn maths. Then I remember after our workshop, it was for around 100-200 people. Then after our workshop, 2 guys approached me. And they asked me a very simple question. They asked me a question like, if we have to take admission in any XY, maybe it was for Aligarh, for Aligarh, then is there a way I can get directly in second year some kind of entry or something like this there or not? And it was pretty obvious. So I told him that, hey, this is pretty obvious. Like, why were you waiting for this question to be answered in this long queue? Then that guy replied that, had this been very obvious for us, sir, I would not have come almost from 100 kilometers to just meet you.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Wow.
So that guy had come somewhere from another district. And it was a kind of pretty little restrictive day that particular day, because something wrong had happened in some part of the city. So public transport was not available. So somehow they have to manage in some way or the other to come and just meet me and ask me this trivial question, which was trivial for us.
Yeah.
That made me think that the problem there is just about the exposure. It's because that one bhaiya, one uncle you always look up to,
Yeah.
Isn't there?
he was
there.
missing.
Yeah.
So all we had to do was create more future leaders in the city. And now as we are talking here in Delhi, and our institute is going on autopilot mode, because thank God we have created those leaders in last 5 to 6 years.
Kudos to that. I think it's
That's fantastic. That's brilliant.
that's quite a story. But how? Like, I would love to know how that all boiled down to the concept of FILO.
So basically, after my first trip to Kashmir, I met Mubin. So Mubin is my co-founder of Rise.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And he's again doing another edtech startup by name of Wise. It's mostly around teaching assistant tools. So we co-founded this Rise Institute in Kashmir. So we started teaching.
Got it.
But let's say, for example, if you have to open an institute in Delhi, what will you do? You will rent a place. You will do some marketing. And you will say that, hey, I'm a great teacher. I can take you from IIT to MIT or whatnot. And people will come, they will pay the fees, and class will start happening.
Yeah.
So when we opened an institute, we were like, okay, we will take you to IIT. And they were like, what the fuck?
What is IIT? Wow.
Yeah.
Why do we even need to go there?
Yeah.
Why do you need to go there? Oh, nice.
There is a regional college
Yeah.
just 20 kilometers away from home.
That's good enough.
That's good enough. We have never heard of. Our uncles are like very sad, our fathers are very sad. So first you have to, if you like of course things have things have changed like almost if not 180 but at least 170 degree for sure in Kashmir by now. But then you have to convince someone that hey, this is there. So what we did, we used to travel across the valley, visit school one by one, tell them the story. First of all, a lot of principals used to tell them. One principal had told me right in front of my face that you are some cheat, some bluff, because it's not possible that someone who's from Bihar have a degree in IIT could come to Kashmir. I told that gentleman very politely that sir, I'm 23, I can solve maths problem in air, and I'm single, so I'm an Indian.
Somehow that spoke more than an identity card. Identity card can be what this card be.
Oh wow.
So I feel attacked. But it's from a fellow person, so it's okay.
So literally it was you have to go. So we conducted Kashmir's largest talent search exam, which was attempted by almost 20,000 kids.
Wow.
Then we handpicked around 100-200 kids from there. Then we coached them. Then some of them have already graduated from University of Pennsylvania, Princeton, Stanford.
Wow, it's insane. So in somehow, were you trying to recreate your experience of Super 30 in Kashmir? Was that always in the hindsight as an inspiration to you in general?
In a way, yes, you can say.
Yeah.
In a way, yes, because I remember like in Super 30, it's pretty casual environment over there.
Yeah.
So I have told my students that hey, you don't need to call me sir. You don't need to stand when I come into class. Like literally, don't do that. Okay. You just need to solve as many good number of problems as you can. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Okay. You come in shorts. You come in whatever. You come. You don't come. I really don't care. You have to be on track. That's so somehow yes. Somehow I was kind of influenced by the Super 30 environment. And the same thing led to FILO, because what happened basically, let's say for example, when I'm teaching electromagnetic induction in class, and I used to ask that, okay, how's your electrostats, something which have been taught 4 months earlier, how's your capacitor, how's your magnetism? Then some of them used to say that, sir, we are still struggling, we are hustling. Then a guy told me that, sir, had you been at our home permanently, our learning would have been 100x better.
Okay.
Because when you teach something in class, we basically take down notes. In our tech world, we call it data transfer. But when we study at home and we reopen those notes, in education field, it's called self-study. Something which all of us have been told from the day of our birth
Is the key.
to success.
Yeah.
Yep.
In our tech world, it's called data processing. So all the tools available in market are basically about data transfer in education. There is no single tool apart from FILO, which I know, exists about data processing.
That's quite an analogy, yeah.
So when
That makes sense.
they started doing self-study, the thought was that we get stuck every 10-15 minutes and it kills our time. So we make a schedule that, okay, today we are going to do these 30 problems and we are going to revise these many things and we are going to do X, Y, or Z, whatnot, and make a good, pretty fat ass plan. And the first 5 minutes they are boiled down. Now it ruins not just their plan, it ruins their whole morale. And if the same thing happens, let's say 2 to 3 days in a week, they totally are, you can say, detached from the main classroom.
Yeah.
So if I take all of you back to your school days, imagine first day of your grade 10. You, along with all of your gang, must be super energetic, excited about, okay, what's going to happen. Even the dumbest kid of your class would be like super happy that, yeah, today we learned something on day 1. Okay? It's new, you're full of energy, there is no backlog basically in your mind. Because it's a fresh start. But then try to remember 3 months down the line.
Yeah. Definitely relatable.
Hardly some of you would be in sync with the teacher,
Sure.
and the rest will be hustling that, whether it's physics or French.
Yeah.
That's true.
So this is the learning gap which starts happening the moment there are 50, 60 or even 10 students in a class,
Yeah.
when it is not one-to-one.
Is apprehension to ask a big reason for this? Like what's
One of the
crux?
reasons. One of the reasons.
Okay.
Look, I'm not saying it's like the 90% of the cause, but definitely 10% of the cause.
What's the majority chunk? Why does this happen in an educational setup?
Because, for example, if I'm a teacher, I'm MS Physics IIT Kharagpur. When I'm teaching something, I'm teaching, let's say, a concept of conservation of momentum. I explained it in 10 long minutes. From my understanding, this is a good enough time. 10 minutes in explaining conservation of momentum, then giving 3 examples, and then further 2 examples after that and whatnot. To my understanding, this is a good enough time. But when there are 60 students in class, for 6 of them, 5 of them or 3 of them, it matches. But it will never match for the rest 50 of them. Because you have to take it this way. You miss one class and the next class is gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So if you miss just 5% of the syllabus, you basically end up not understanding 95% of the syllabus.
That's true.
Now imagine if someone has to cover grade 10 properly. You have to be attentive throughout the year.
Like when I watch a podcast, I can always pause and rewind by 10 seconds if I think something was important, but I didn't really comprehend it. So
Yes.
I can control the pace
Yeah.
of the data transfer, as
That's why
you were saying.
But in classroom, you simply cannot.
Also, I'm visualizing this in such a way, like there is a speaker, right, and all the people are sitting in front of me, and there is, of course, this output of knowledge from the speaker, and there's input of knowledge in these students, right? There are varying degrees of input based on the filter of the mind, right? For example, if my attention is outside on the window, suddenly 10% of the knowledge would not seep in, only the rest would.
Yeah.
So suddenly there is, by the end of that session, there is so many varying degrees of understanding in that same set of audience. How would you ever neutralize that or get all of them on the same level?
Yeah.
Unless there is some other way, by of course enhanced by technology and personalization, that you can maybe measure that first and then try to do it.
Imagine if someone in 4th grade didn't understand bond mass. His maths is gone forever. Forever. Bond mass. As simple as bond mass, which all of us is like bond mass. Right?
And that for sure I can tell is the situation for more than 50% of the kids.
Absolutely. I realized it when I also used to teach. I realized it when I was teaching someone else how to do maths, right? And someone's like, oh, but how do we solve that? And I'm like, bro, that's bond mass.
Yeah.
And then I know from there on, he's never actually grasped anything, but he's just ruttofied, right? Like he's just cramped things up to cross things out. So he's 95% in 10 grades, but in 11th grade, he still doesn't know a 6th grade concept.
Yeah.
And I think all of us had even favorite topics and like non-favorite topics in the same subject.
Yeah.
Like I remember during my physics, I was never a fan of rotation. It
Yeah.
used to always bother me so much, and especially when there were some problem statements having concepts of rotation as well as momentum and something else.
Yeah.
Then I used to totally become so underconfident at the starting of it
Yeah.
that getting out of it was definitely a challenge. So
Attention deficit, absolutely. I mean, now that I can say that, I would solve everything from calculus. If I knew just calculus in my 11th, 12th.
Yeah.
I only studied that, no idea of how to do ellipses and all circles and all those formulas. I just know calculus well enough to think of it and solve it.
Yeah.
If I didn't know that, I wouldn't have cracked anything.
So FILO is trying to what are you trying to solve? Are you trying to solve one-to-one tutoring, or like if I'm studying and I'm stuck in something and I just pick up FILO and I get a answer to that doubt? Like what's
we
the
are
main
curious
thing that you're
because
trying
all here are engineers, all 2015. 4 of us are DC and one is IIT Delhi. So very much relatable to the kind of problems you're discussing. So
Yeah.
how does FILO play its role in this?
What's the kind of problem there?
Cool. So what you asked one is whether we are solving tutoring problem or whether we are solving
Doubt
clearing.
Doubt clearing.
doubt. Okay. So first of all, we have to understand that both are same.
Yeah.
In a way, yes.
1 hour long session with a private tutor when you call. when you're not able to understand something in your school. That's like your prima facie source of learning. All of us go to school, right? But our parents find some local teacher living nearby the house or where you can go or whatever, or whether she or he can come to your home. So his 1 hour is all about doubt solving. He's solving your doubts which you carried from school.
Yeah.
Then what happens when a student realizes that, okay, now I've got a teacher at my home, I really don't need to care about this class
In school.
in the school.
So the learning happens at home.
Then he's caring about who are the girls nearby,
Yeah.
who are the girls chasing the other gender and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
especially in the age of when you are age of 10, 11, 12.
Sure.
Peak puberty.
Yeah. So,
I remember literally every teacher used to realize the fact that they are not being heard of or not being respected because they know they have a private tutor at home.
exactly.
And they themselves will be private tutors.
Yeah, even that happens. But then at FILO, what we're trying to do is that we are all about that you really don't need a dedicated teacher after school. Only when there is a mechanism to support you just in time. So there is this whole concept called accelerated learning. So I will give you a very generic answer to this, that which can cover both, because I think most of us here, we are all belong to a private school setup.
Yeah.
We hardly got a chance to speak to government school kids where the majority of the mass resides. And if we talk about Indian education space, it will be majorly students coming from government school background. So let's say if you pick a typical grade 8 in any government school, if there are 50 kids there, 2 kids are there who are supposed to be in grade 8.
Yeah. I get that.
Okay. Majority of them are not even at a level of grade 6. And some of them are not even at a level of grade 4.
Yeah.
Now imagine how difficult the life will be for the teacher.
Yeah.
That poor soul, what she or he can do.
Even if they're a great teacher.
Even if they are a great teacher, let's say you bring the greatest teacher.
They can't do anything.
You can't do anything. Because exactly what I think you mentioned about when there are different inflow metrics, they are all at a different level.
Yeah.
It simply becomes a gradient.
Correct.
So in that setup, there is no way. So ultimately what happens that all of these students, they know that nothing is going to happen in class.
Yeah.
Teacher can't do anything.
Right.
If teacher picks one club, the rest all will feel that, okay, we are somehow, there is a bias in system or whatnot. The teacher tries to create a mixture. And that mixture is the worst thing to happen. Because it doesn't suit literally anyone.
Yeah.
So you go home, a normal student goes home and tells the father that, hey, my teacher is doing bullshit in class. You just find me some teacher who can sit with me. So you call that private tuition, and this billion-dollar business of private tuition, unorganized sector is there because a student says that, okay, now I have someone on whom I can rely.
Yeah.
So looking for a buddy, someone whom you don't just look up to as like a god, because teachers in India are like gods. You have to be silent, you have to be polite, and you have to be whatnot. It's almost like a newly bride getting into a in-laws home.
Yeah.
That's how you treat your teachers. So we change that. We are saying that all the students are looking for is a reliance, is a support.
Bade bhaiya.
I'm not talking about vocation, but reliance.
As of now.
So yes, the word you use,
Bade
bade
bhaiya.
bhaiya, right? So bade bhaiya and bade didi. This is the concept you require. Now you can leverage that bade bhaiya for the whole of calculus, or even just a basic problem of limits and continuity.
Yeah.
So we are, lot of our friends even used to call me that, okay, now you have built another doubt solving. I'm like, dude, you don't know about startup, you don't know about edtech. You're just good with what you're doing. Keep on doing that. Please don't give me gyan. Because we can be anything, but we cannot be doubt solving.
Yeah.
Because that is totally different. Because that is like providing solution.
Sure.
For example, let's say I don't know coding and I participate in any coding competition. I'm getting issues. I go to ChatGPT. I'll get. So for that matter, ChatGPT can provide you. In fact, ChatGPT is much advanced actually. Rather, you can pick for that matter. Yeah, Stack Overflow. So Stack Overflow can provide you all the solutions.
Right.
But that's not learning coding.
Got it.
So at FILO, it's all about learning. That learning can even be a 2-minute session. Let's say a lot of students ask questions like they send us questions along with the solution.
Yeah. Make me understand this.
Just help me how the teacher, the author moved from a step 2 to a step 3.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Okay.
More like clearing the concepts.
Yeah.
Clearing the concepts. So in one word, if you ask me like one word, it's all about learning.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It can be even a 30-second session. It can even be a 3-hour session.
More like hand holding, is it? Yeah.
In a way.
that you have someone always at your beck and call who will actually take you from A to B
Yes.
and help you solve your problems when no one is there.
Exactly.
Providing you
The
with the
existing
crutch,
education.
or providing you with the support system which does not exist.
And also the comfort level, right? To have to rely on someone who I'm actually betting my career on, right? If I don't get into this college or XYZ, the kind of mentality that India
Right.
has, that reliance and trust and comfort must also be very big.
And he will not judge you. No
No
matter
one
what
will
you
know.
ask.
Yeah.
It's on a phone, no one will know. If I ask that dumb question, which I think is dumb in front of my peers.
My
right?
entire peer
So,
group, yes.
so is there a
what kind of-
two-sided feedback?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
from the teacher to the student. Yeah, both.
Both
Both
sides, yes.
side. Okay.
So more like a marketplace, is it?
It's not just a marketplace because we are curating the whole service. We are training the whole set of tutors which we have.
Okay.
So it's not like
More like a
any-
managed marketplace. then.
Yeah, in a way you can say managed marketplace where we are taking care of both part of the world.
Got it.
So, what actually excite me the most is the impact stories. Because let's say if I was a kid, if you can tell me from a story of that now his usage is going to decrease with time because his concepts are getting clearer, or it is like you're only helping those with are very weak in concepts.
The 5% or the top 1%, right? Like who is passionate enough to go find out
The
about
answers,
you guys, figure out those guys, reach out to them. Because a lot of kids aren't. A lot of kids it's like a parental pressure that comes in. A lot of kids don't themselves go out and be like, hey, I want to study.
Yeah.
It's just till the time exam is not there, no one's going to study.
So, okay, if I ask you, let's say there's a kid in grade 1.
Yeah.
Let's take the most extreme case. Kid in grade 1, almost like a prodigy, can solve grade 5 questions. But in a government school, grade 1 kid, from where she or he will seek any help. So there's a kid we just got to know through her usage numbers on FILO. She's from Varanasi. She has a Limca book of world record of spelling out all the countries named in the world in some very small amount of time. So she is in grade 1. She is learning grade 6 maths at FILO and plans to cover up to grade 10 by next 1 year.
Okay.
She is so good that her father got her a phone just because of FILO, because her father works in farm. So for most good amount of time he is not at home and she was suffering. So the best he could do was arranging a mobile phone, a smartphone. Now she is so famous that she goes somewhere in the village and teaches other grade 1, 2, 3, 4 kids
Okay.
of her age and even senior to her. And FILO is the only source of learning for her.
Wow.
Because at FILO, she can ask, she can learn just whatever she wants.
That is some deep impact. Man.
That's like true accelerated learning. Like grade 1, like starting grade 10.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
So this is the power of accelerated learning that, for example, if I'm in grade 5 or grade 6 and I get stuck, then someone can say that, okay, I got stuck at grade 6 because I missed grade 5 or I missed grade 4. For example, what happened in COVID?
Yeah.
Someone who was in grade 7, let's say in March 2020, is today in grade 9.
Yeah, almost any 10.
Yeah, so almost planning to go into grade 10th. But she or he is in grade 9th or 10th in the register.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mentally, where are they?
Correct.
Now imagine how will you help?
Yeah.
How will you help that kid? You cannot make her go through 3 set of classes, grade 7, 8, 9.
together.
So none of these remedial will actually work.
Sure.
All the remedial factors, all the remedial practices, none of them actually work. So there's a clear research, and to be true, I even did not know about the research while I was building FILO.
Yeah, because you guys started in COVID.
And this can be little dangerous for me, but I was in Kashmir, and back in those 100 days, there was no internet or even phone working in Kashmir in late 2019.
Yeah.
So I used to teach my students in early hours, and then I used to get myself locked in my room and work on the app design and whatnot.
Wow.
Like a year ago, we got to know that from Harvard to MIT to Chicago, both, even McKinsey, they have done proper research on this term accelerated learning, which in a way says that if you are in grade 9 and you're getting stuck, you can get stuck because of something which you just missed in grade 7 or grade 8. The only way that your learning does not suffer is if someone can be connected to you just in time. It's like someone just comes in time, talks to you, understand that, okay, the kind of mistake you are making and the kind of question you are asking is probably because you have not studied something a year before or 2 years before. Understands that, cleans that portion of your learning.
Why does this sound like a doctor?
So
Like it's a diagnostics happening, and then a medicine is being given, and the person is back to normal life.
Exactly.
So I did some
Personalized
stories.
doctor. So much personalized, so the medicine will only work for you because it's only related to you.
So actually, I've done a lot of research. So right now, I am working in the US ecosystem. So there has been very solid report at the national level about the learning loss due to COVID or the learning gaps due to COVID. And when they have done the entire analysis on like a grade 5 kid is actually a grade 3 maths kid, or this aptitude of reading is of grade 2 and all, and they are trying to understand and find a product. So actually instant tutoring is picking up pretty fast in the US. So that is something, you know, you can definitely look into, and we can discuss that later on also.
Sure.
But I now totally understand the gist of it, that this is a real solid problem, and even the brilliant mind person will definitely have some learning gap in their journey, which can lead to further learning loss of the upcoming topic and get them off the track.
This learning gap was always there in this kind of one person lecturing many people.
Yeah,
It just got it just got expanded, or like the
Yeah, it
gap
just
just
got
became
accelerated
so
because of
much
COVID.
because of
Yeah.
COVID. That
Yeah.
because suddenly that personal touch was there. That also
went
left, right?
Because access wasn't there. Even if the access was there, you had internet to be like a teacher had to be powerful than an internet or a YouTube video to capture the attention of audience.
Actually-
How can you do that? There's no one who is powerful than a YouTube video at that point of time.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen my nephews all stuck to Minecraft and Roblox while
Yeah.
the class is happening,
Yeah.
and we have caught them multiple times.
Yeah.
But again,
So this at Philo, it's 1-to-1.
it's
right?
totally one-to-one.
It's totally 1-to-1.
Yes.
Personalized. And so as you were saying, and I'll be the devil's advocate here, right?
Mhm.
You're saying you're going to these remote locations and helping people out. How does the unit economics work in these kind of areas? What about that? And how do you ensure that people are making the tutors, of course, the supply side of the marketplace, are making enough money to be sticky to your platform?
Cool. So basically, I asked two questions. Two good questions. You remind me of my good friends at different VCs.
I think we've all had enough experience of those.
confronting those
Of
things.
those friends, specifically those friends.
So the tables have turned today.
Yeah.
Cool. So see, regarding so we don't look for that, okay, we are going to make money from each village or town, urban or rural, we touch. In general, for a setup like this, it all works at scale.
Okay.
It's all about which is the biggest player in the country. It's all about being the biggest player in the world. Because at scale, yes, this is profitable.
Sure.
We have done enough maths. Like, I myself have become devil's advocate from the same model which I myself have created along with my team members, and did all kind of you can say extreme calculations to understand that how this is going to be profitable.
Sure.
especially when you are starting a startup, when you are hearing so many not so good stories about the big edtechs and their profitability issues.
Yeah.
So yes, this is
Correct.
This is If you say that, okay, if you want to do it this for, let's say, 5 schools or for, let's say, 100,000 kids, this will not be profitable.
Makes sense.
For the second question, if I ask you that, let's say you're living in a tier 2 town, tier 3 town, and you are a chemistry graduate from a very normal college, a college about that no one has really heard of, not even the people living in the same town.
Possible.
What is the income you can expect for that person?
Makes sense.
Forget about income. What is the job share you will get? There is no job. Mostly those folks will be preparing or applying for government jobs,
Yeah, SSCs and all.
or they have to come to Delhi, Mumbai, and Hyderabad, and Chennai, and whatnot, Calcutta, to seek jobs somewhere. Well, I don't know what skill set. Tutor at FILO, who is a good chemistry graduate, is making like 50,000 to 70,000 per month,
Wow.
working from comfort and safety of their home, without the hustle of travel, wasting money on Uber or local rickshaw or whatnot,
Or the rent and all in the cities.
and the rent and all in the cities.
Yeah.
So we have tutors across tier 2 towns, even tier 1 town, who I will not say are the best tutor in the country,
Yeah.
or I will not say the best or the most expert one for a subject, but they definitely are the expert in their topic. So the interesting thing which we do at FILO is that at FILO, if someone is taking questions of calculus, may not be the best person for maths, but definitely is a great person for calculus.
Makes sense.
Actually, pretty interesting because they might also have learning gaps.
So basically, you have kind of earmarked each guy for their topics rather than the full subjects.
Yes.
And based on their expertise, you match. So
But-
matchmaking becomes.
Yeah.
super
Matchmaking
important.
is your IP.
We have 8 patents.
Got it.
Okay.
So the right
US.
topic, the right teacher, the right student. Something like
And
that.
I think
And
you
also
get
the
a
question.
space, question and everything like.
So even, for example, some there are some teachers who are, let's say, good at numericals, problem solving. There are good teachers who are good at explaining reaction mechanisms, but there are good teachers who are pretty smart at making someone just even remember those inorganic exceptions.
Sure.
It's not everyone's cup of tea.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we have, like, for example, we have around 41 parameters just to mark our tutors.
Wow.
We have around 25 parameters to connect our students to our teachers.
Well.
And then comes the third and very critical point: what is the question? So our algorithm creates a triangle: student, teacher, and the question asked.
Makes sense.
Now these 3 are the major inputs. Now we find out that where we can get the maximum efficiency.
No, honestly, very like it's funny. Like only trace of this has happened at my coaching institute at 11-12 when I should remember some teachers were famous or something, or at least chemistry was divided into organic, inorganic, and physical. That was the only time there was some expertise-based division in the subject. Otherwise, I have never seen topic-specific expertise being either like owned by the teacher themselves, or at least
Till grade 10, yes.
Because most of the models that I've seen are branded teachers, right, doing MOOCs, one to many. I have
One-star teacher.
Yeah,
teaching
one-star
a lot of
teacher
people.
teaching thousands of people.
Good question.
And I don't have a very good affinity, because then I feel it's a very similar way to what was happening on offline. There at least there was a set of 60 people. Now suddenly I have to compete with 1,000 people to raise my hand and ask a question.
Yeah, I think that is built on an assumption that teacher in your school is shit.
Yeah. So
But
that's
the
why
point
we
is,
do.
even if the teacher in your school is great,
Then
Kids
also-
are
there is a problem still that exists.
But what I love about Philo is also because you told me that you're training your teachers as well, right? There is some kind of there's some kind of pedagogy which these teachers go through.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Interestingly, like 50% of our teachers are from tier 1 cities. A lot of them are IT undergrads, IT postgrads, IT under PhDs. Some of them are bankers.
Yeah.
around 35% of them are already professional teachers.
Okay.
But you have to train someone that how to teach someone just in time.
Yeah.
Who's coming to that? Then-
So we have a very thorough process of ensuring that, let's say for example, if someone asks me a physics question right now, immediately I go solve it. It will be difficult for me.
Yeah.
So how to make someone understand that whenever a question is asked, the problem is not the question. The problem is that there is some problem hidden in the mind of the student. You have to first identify that. If you identify that, you handhold the student to that problem. This particular question will be solved by the student himself. And that will be the aha moment for the student.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
And that's how they will stick around.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they get the aha,
Yes.
oh yes, this is how it's done.
But like just on this model, I've recently exited from my tech startup. I just understand there are just so many parameters, right? Like how do we ensure that the supply is available at that time, just in time, of that particular topic or question to matchmake with the right student? So the supply needs to be expanded to, let's say, lakhs of teachers and multiple teachers catering to a certain set of problems. So I'm sure there would be a lot of algorithms at play.
There are like algorithm is basically you can say our company.
Because your USP is all about in 60 seconds.
The matching.
The matching, the efficient matching, and the pedagogy being built on top of it.
Also the right incentives for the teachers to be available.
Yes.
At that time, right?
At that time, and the prediction in the model to ensure that let's say at 6 p.m. mostly after sunset, parents force that now go and study.
Yeah.
So earlier, what used to happen? I can say pre-FILO era, that you can just shut down the TV, you can shut the room, and then go study. Now, if you have FILO, when you are studying, you can come online. So we know that when we're going to have some surge in the traffic. So accordingly, we can predict that.
It would also be months based, right? Like exams are happening, so there would be a higher surge. More people have higher doubts.
Yeah, definitely happens that. Especially now we are finding so the difference in the gradient. If I say like in D2X, DD2, now that has gone down because now we are in multiple countries.
Okay. Yeah.
In multiple geographies, in multiple curricula.
15 countries, yeah.
That
sounds like very Uber like a model. Like you have to make perfectly a rider and a driver, and you have to give driver enough incentive to be there in the search time, more drivers to come in.
Yeah.
It's very
Instead of the variable of being geography, it is probably topics.
the topics.
And it's just that it's 50x more difficult than Uber.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Just a driver.
Why not? Yes.
you really don't care if you are getting a black Verna or a white Verna.
Yeah.
And you just have to drive, right? You don't have to. The variables are much different.
And whether your
training is much lesser.
your shopper has got a white dress or a black safari.
Yeah. Very standard.
Ours is crazy.
Instead of A to B from a location, you have to take the mind from A to B.
Yes.
The
Which can
operations
go
must
through
be
so
crazy,
many
right?
parts.
So one thing we knew from day zero that let's not build another ops giant. Okay. So we try to do as many things as we can through our product. Of course, like let's say for example, whenever we are doing anything new, we first do it through ops and then we productize it. We do it through ops and productize it. We have made a policy that the number of space which we have in our office right now, we should not require more than that, at least for next 1 year or 2 years.
What is the strength right now?
So we are good. We are, I think, around 230-ish.
230 people.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But that's super cool, man. Yeah, we recently got to know you raised quite a lot of money as well in this time. So congratulations for that. I'm sure it gives you a lot of growth capital. How much? 25 million, I guess.
Yeah.
In total. A lot of good growth capital for the next 1 or 2 years to ride the next incoming recession.
You think there is a recession? That's my question to ask. And how do you think the edtech market has changed? Because post-pandemic there was a huge bump and then it came crashing down. Right now the edtech scenario across the world is not the best. Like what it used to be, say 2 years back, 2020, it was like everyone wanted to invest in edtech. Right now no one wants to listen to edtech.
What kind of companies are actually going to survive this coming time?
So thankfully we have got the cash in our bank account. So
cheers to that.
In
Always
a way, like we really don't care what others feel, think, dream about edtech.
Yeah.
Because for us, that's clear mandate that there's a problem, we have a solution. It's all about execution now.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing which, unlike other CEOs and co-founders and cool people, I would not be able to do is like posting graphs every week that okay, now we moved 50x, then we moved 200x.
Yeah.
Nothing of like that will happen, because otherwise you are looking at the balance sheet.
Yeah.
Because if you move 50x, then one red figure also moves 200x.
Yes, of course.
And no one talks about that red figure.
Yeah.
So we are not going to do the same mistake.
Yeah.
We are looking to build a real solution, and
I think it's only reasonable that an edtech founder learns from mistakes of the previous. It's very reasonable.
Great fun Paras.
No, I absolutely agreed. I think the concept itself is so interesting that we spent a lot of our time discussing the concept itself because I loved it. So, but I think one topic that always come to mind when we talk to different startup and guests is about the go-to-market, right? Because everyone I have realized has find their own journey, and that's why it's always exciting to listen to new journeys.
yeah.
In the problem is all right, but selling it is different together. All
Beast
right.
altogether. From India to 15 countries. How did you expect?
No, from 0 to 1,000 customers.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
let's
can
get
never
down.
be enough documentation in this world about how to reach first 1,000 users.
First 1,000
There can
fans.
never be enough
First
documentation.
1,000 fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
But fantastic. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot
Thanks,
for
man.
coming.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
Thanks a lot.
Love the
Thanks
conversation.
for inviting me.
Thank you guys. So that's
Very
a wrap.
nice conversation.
And so like.
Share, subscribe, and comment, and also press the bell icon if you want to listen to more such fantastic founders. on
And
the
go
Synapse
check out
Pod.
FILO.
Yes.
You are on Play Store, right?
We are on Play Store, we are on App Store.
App Store.
both.
We will
Everything.
also tag all description about FILO in the description of the
Yes,
pod.
we'll do
So
that.
please feel free
Yeah.
to check it out.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.